Hi, this is Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. This morning I learned from a viewer that Kevin Mitchell, the British lightweight, the undefeated British lightweight, had signed to fight Michael Katsidis in an upcoming match. And this match has me intrigued. I think this video might surprise some people because I'm taking the guy who is not the Frank Warren fighter fighting in the Frank Warren promotion. I'm actually taking the Australian Michael Katsidis to win this fight. I think he's underrated. I know he's lost twice, um, once to Juan Diaz, once to Joel Casamayor. Um, but of all the fighters in boxing today, I would say the fighter who most reminds me of the great Mike Tyson is Michael Katsidis. Let me just say, he is one of the very best at cutting off the ring. I believe the key in his fights is the distance between himself and the other fighter. He tends to impose his will. You've heard me talk about counterpunching in many videos. Michael Katsidis is the prototypical lead puncher, just like Mike Tyson. He doesn't wait for opportunities. He creates opportunities. And importantly, when he gets inside, if you cover up top, he is one of the very best body punchers in the entire sport. He'll chop you down like a tree. And I believe this is what makes him an elite fighter. His defense is actually better than advertised because he's not a free swinger. He actually operates out of a shell, just like Mike Tyson. When you look at a Katsidis fight, you're going to notice that he has his hands up and he's blocking punches on the way in. And what I like an awful lot is the fact that even as he's throwing punches, even when he's in a shootout, he is in that defensive shell. Now, Kevin Mitchell, he is a gifted fighter, but I don't think his skill set matches up well with Katsidis because Mitchell needs distance. Also, think through Katsidis' two losses, right? One was to Juan Diaz, a very high volume puncher who himself is a lead puncher, who kept Katsidis busy on the inside. Now, I believe HBO, a station I like, did a very bad job announcing that fight. They were absolutely stunned that it was a split decision. They didn't seem to realize that the fight was as close as it was. I think the American viewing public was left with the conclusion that Katsidis is just a brawler, and he's not. Against a high volume fighter fighting before his hometown. Diaz is from Houston. That fight was in Houston, where the crowd was cheering every time Diaz brushed Katsidis' cheek. Katsidis is going to have a problem. Kevin Mitchell is not a volume puncher. Kevin Mitchell is a counter puncher. When you look at his fights against Mendoza and Prescott, they are excellent fights, but Mitchell is fighting at a measured pace from distance. In fact, in the Prescott fight, you'll see one of his great skills is great head movement. He could slip punches from distance. That skill goes out of the window when you're fighting a Tyson type who sucks the oxygen out of the ring and is going to have you up against the ropes. Now, Katsidis did legitimately lose the Joel Casamayor fight. And that's an interesting fight because, of course, Casamayor is, strategy wise, one of the absolute best chess players in the entire sport. And Casamayor is left handed, he's a southpaw. So you'll notice in the first round when Katsidis hits the canvas twice, it's a straight left, and Katsidis simply is not prepared for the southpaw stance. He does not know the angles at which Casamayor is throwing the punches. As the fight progresses, he figures it out and, in my opinion, starts to dominate the fight. If you look at the 10th round when Katsidis gets stopped, it is a perfectly timed left counter by Casamayor. Casamayor was laying in the weeds for that punch. Casamayor himself seemed to realize that he was in trouble. In fact, in, I believe, the round before that, Casamayor was getting pressed by Katsidis, was running out of gas, and had to hit Katsidis below the belt to slow down the action. The referee caught it and actually deducted a round from Casamayor. In other words, Katsidis, after hitting the canvas twice in the first round of that fight, was then dominating the fight, in my opinion, before getting stopped in the 10th. I believe because of that Casamayor fight, people seem to believe that Katsidis has a fragile chin. The truth is the polar opposite. He got hit by a chess player with the left hand, a southpaw, right? It was the power punch from Casamayor. Kevin Mitchell is not left-handed. He's an orthodox fighter. His left hand isn't the same as southpaw Joel Casamayor's left hand, right? I understand. I'm going to hear that he dropped Mendoza with the left hand. Sure, he did. I believe you're kidding yourself if you believe that the punch he hit Mendoza with was that potent or would stop a Michael Katsidis. I believe Katsidis is going to, even though he's fighting in the UK against the UK fighter, I believe he's going to cut down the ring on Kevin Mitchell. I believe Mitchell is going to be absolutely astonished by how good Katsidis' defense is. It's underrated. I know I've criticized Katsidis in other videos, but his defense is underrated. Then I think Katsidis is going to do something no one has done to Kevin Mitchell, and that is take out his rib cage. Look at Katsidis' offense, just like Tyson. He doesn't just beat you up to the head, he literally takes away your rib cage. I believe this is going to be somewhat progressively one-sided because I believe Mitchell really depends on fighters falling for his feints and stuff like that. He's a high-level fighter. Take a look at the Prescott fight. You'll see he's doing a lot of head fakes and stuff like that. The problem when you're fighting a Michael Katsidis, a Selçuk Aydin, a Mike Tyson, is that these guys basically come in with the attitude of, hey, I don't care about your head fakes. I believe my offensive game can take you out. Make no mistake, Katsidis is the puncher in this fight. I like him to pull the upset. Now, as I always say, if I'm wrong, punish me in the ratings here on YouTube. But if I'm right, give me 5 stars. Understand this fight is high risk because Katsidis is fighting an undefeated UK fighter in the UK on a Frank Warren promoted card, right? So politically, I'm guessing the crowd is not going to be pro-Australian. It's going to be very British. But Michael Katsidis, just like Mike Tyson, he doesn't care. He'll fight you in the parking lot if a paycheck is involved. Looks like I'm out of time. Thanks for watching. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. I like Katsidis in this fight if you haven't guessed. Leave your comments for us here. Also visit us at predictboxing.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.